Hello from the Yarn Closet in Southern Arizona. I am Laura. I'm Yarn Closet AZ on Instagram, but I don't do a lot on there anymore. I am the Yarn Closet over on Patreon. That comes and goes. There's been a lot of new stuff happening over there that I'm gonna look into. Why is that like that? Good God, it's not even 8:30 and it's been a day already. Yesterday was the last day of school. Our last day of school goes from 8 a.m. to 10:15 in the morning. It doesn't even qualify as a school day unless they serve a lunch. It's kind of pointless. It's been a rough week. I haven't really wanted it to be the last week. I'm enjoying being in the library every day. The librarian is going to be there through our short summer a few days a week. But since I have no ride in and out, I can't. Connor is driving, but he doesn't drive by himself very often. He does have his license. And I'm trying not to push him. He's a good kid, and I hate that he's a teenager and at that stage where even if you say something, like the other night we were eating dinner and he just did this with dirty fingers. I'm like, hey, use your napkin. I mean, just irate. It's just such a hard parental state to be in because you're not mad at them. You're not upset with them. You love them. But when they do certain things, you want to be able to say something, and I don't know, I think this is like training for that. Well, they're adults now. I guess I have to just shut up and let them do what they're going to do. And that is tough. Prue is not feeling well. She wanted her breakfast, which is apple slices and Nutella. But she didn't really eat all of it. People think it's funny, but if it's just the tiniest bit of Nutella on the outside of an apple, it tastes like a chocolate caramel apple. So I'll eat these apple slices and then just toss the Nutella because that's just icky. Or I'll put it on toast later. I don't know. You know, I'm that mom eater of, I guess I have to eat this because nobody else is going to eat it. We start watching my aunt's cats today. They'll be out of town for a few weeks. And then right after they get back, we're going to go out of town for a few nights. I've got a couple day trips planned with Prue in this city planned trip thing. Like, does your city do activities for kids over the summer? It's that kind of thing. I'll still be going in at least twice a month to see my dad and do groceries and possible doctor's appointment. He's got some eye stuff going on this month or next month. Right now, he's just started another antibiotic because we're not sure the UTI cleared up. He's really still zonked from the COVID. We found out at the doctor that he's lost 12 pounds in the last 2 months. So our next kidney doctor appointment's in August. If he's lost another 10, 15, 20 pounds, it's a pretty clear indicator that the cancer's kind of taking over. That's been hard to have that conversation. The doctor brought up palliative care and hospice care. So we're not sure quite how far away we are from hospice, but he did talk about, because my dad's single, about doing facility hospice, which I think my dad would actually like a lot more. We have to talk about it more, but I think we have to wait and talk about it when we get closer. He did realize that the doctor was bringing up his other cancer and some of the things. it's tough. And that made this week really tough. I don't think, anything being preemptive health-wise bugs my husband. When I say, please don't do that because it affects my blindness in this way and it bothers me, if that's the way he wanted to do it, then he gets angry. So it's been a rough week because I don't have a lot of an outlet. And now I have to just be home and pretend to be happy with life when I'm not. I'm sad. This is rough. We don't know what's going on or how fast things are progressing for him. And it's sad. He's sad. His life doesn't look right now like he expected it to look. And then when we talk about things like, but don't you remember your mom? And how from the time she was about 70 on, and she lived to be almost 101, like just a bit shy of that anniversary, that birthday. Like, don't you remember that she lived alone and she didn't have like a lot of people visiting her, and she would go on the bus because she didn't drive, and she'd get her groceries and she'd do stuff for a couple of decades before you really started jumping into the picture when she was 89-ish, 88-ish. She didn't go into the nursing home until I think she was 93 or 4, 92, 94. And I remember a few years before that where there were grocery trips on a fairly regular basis. But I'm trying to like put into perspective, like, you saw this happen to your mom. Now you're kind of in that similar vein. And what it's making me realize is I really do have to pay attention to what's happening in my parents. And they are 24 and 33 years older than me. So I really have to put that into perspective for my own future, so I can be realistic about my expectations, because I think that what frustrates a lot of the elderly people that I've seen is they don't ever really stop and be realistic about their expectations. And that leads to a lot of dissatisfaction with where they're at in life. And then my dad thinks he's joking when he says, well, I've always said when I quit golfing, I'll die. I quit golfing 6 months ago. What's the holdup? That's not funny. The holdup is, guys still invited you out to golf. You could still go golfing with them and just only golf a hole or a few shots of every hole or whatever you want to do. You could still go with them. And I know that just the going out in and of itself is exhausting for him. And that's the frustration. I wish there was something I could do to make his life more fulfilling for him. But he doesn't even want, like, I can't move in with him. I have a husband and children. But he doesn't want to move in with us. Even though we have a situation where he would have some autonomy. He still doesn't want to do that. And like, I understand that to some extent. But I don't. I do, but I don't. Because if what your life is full of right now is just going grocery shopping once a week, eating the foods that you make yourself, he does eat a little bit at the place, and there is a restaurant he can use more at the place that he doesn't. Like, I don't get it. I don't quite get it. But it is what it is. And I just don't know how to make it better. he got to go out to eat with his friends this week, and that made him happy. You know, he goes out at least once a week. He sees people at least once a week. And I just don't know what I can do to make it better. And the reality is maybe I can't do anything. Maybe this is just part of the process. I don't know. But it really has me thinking about park these memories away. Remember how this is working for you. And because also, my kids will be younger when I'm at that stage because I had them so much later. I mean, my dad was 33 when I was born. I was 36 when my son was born. So he'll be like 50 when I'm 86. So that's not far off of where we're at now. And then my daughter will be 7 years younger. So it's not that bad, but I need to kind of file that away. And I'm sad because there's not a lot to do even with the things planned over the summer. I tried last weekend making a big shawl on my flat knitting board. And I was able to do it and it was fine. I tried a couple different things. I think it was the trying of the couple different things versus the product that I ended up with that caused me more issues with my shoulders this week. But then I've started another one that's more like stole. And the frustration there is I can't work with them quite as much as I want to because it does aggravate my neck and my shoulders. I'm walking, my yearly average is now on my Apple phone. My yearly average of steps is more than 5,000 a day, which makes me happy. Because I didn't set that goal till I was a few months into the year. And I was slow about building up, but I'm now going to be walking over the summer about 4,200 to 5,000 steps with the dog every day. Therefore, the rest of it is moot, and there's not a lot in the rest of it, to be honest. Because our house, it's not an outdoorsy, even though we live in the country, this is not an outdoorsy, be outside country patch. The last place was much more kid-friendly to be outside. Even our neighbors, our aunt and cousin, have properties that are more outdoor friendly for the kids. Ours is just not. It is full of goat heads and stickers and that bugs me because we've got a couple swing sets that I'd love to give away. If we're not going to use them, I'd love to give them away so that they got used by somebody else. But I don't know. I just don't know. I don't know how to get the kids out of the house and being more active. Because Connor would drive me and Prue into town to play at the park, but she doesn't really want to play with me at the park, and he doesn't really want to play on the equipment at the park. So it's always then just a hit or a miss. Are there going to be other kids there? If there are, great. If they're not, that's a bummer. And our park is not in the best neighborhood. Like, what is the deal with that? What is the deal with that in so many communities that the area around the park ends up being like not the good neighborhood? How does that happen? Because you'd almost think it would be opposite, because I'd love to live a block or two from the park and be able to walk back and forth. I would think that would make it more prime. So that's kind of weird. So that's one reason why I don't like coordinating and going out of my way to arrange that kind of a deal. I finished the last pair of socks in my bag. They ended up being a little short in the foot, so I gave them to Prue. She'll probably never wear them. But she likes that I make stuff and it becomes hers. She requests it at times, so I do it. She never wears it, whatever. But someday there'll be a box of stuff when they move out that it was hand knit by me, that they can enjoy or give to their children, because by the time they have children, I will be too old to be doing much of that. So my thing is, instead of going to about 6 inches and putting in the heel, I'm going to go to 7. And then I'm going to do more rounds before I start the decreases, because I know that that's part of the problem. And I can't decide what to do with this one. I still can't decide, so I'm just going to let it sit. And then I think instead of doing stuff on the 2 individual needles, I'm going to do this 2 at a time business again. Even if my heels end up being different colors on the same base sock, I think that that will be better. And these long socks, I believe, are just on a 60 stitch tube. Prue wanted some really long socks last year, but I think she put them on twice. So what I'm thinking I'm going to do is I'm going to make them into fingerless gloves. So I think I'm going to weave them onto the red needles to do two at a time, and do some fingerless glove business. How does that sound? Because these are way too long for what I would normally do, but I could get 2 sets of fingerless gloves out of this. And so that's what I think I'm going to do. And just try to engage myself with some purposeful knitting. You know, it's hard when you're going through sad times in life for various reasons. And I would definitely say that April and May so far have been a bit wonky, although really great in other ways too. And that's the hard part, is when you've got sadness from one reason, is to really find the joy in the other stuff. Like, I am really excited that, I mean, look at my hair. We've all of a sudden gone from kind of bob to, even though it's a bit shorter in the back and we're slanting forward, we've kind of gone from bob to not bob. I even ordered a more expensive than I would normally pay for flat iron brush, because I'm at this stage where it gets crinkly in the back and I just want to straighten it out. Now, I have curly hair, but it's not that curly hair that just stays really super curly all day long. I have to do one of those curly girl treatments where there's like 6 products in my hair and a diffuser, and it takes like an hour. I have too much trauma from growing up with a sister and a mother who had to have their, hours in the bathroom to get ready and do hair and makeup. I have too much trauma from that I can't do it. I literally can't do it. And it's not easier. That is not easier, because I have a hard time with product. I have a hard time with more than shampooing my hair in the shower. So I will shampoo and then I will condition the ends, because I know I'm supposed to, and because I have very frizzy hair, unless I do the the heat treatment, and I ordered a new John Frieda spray heat treatment to help with because now we're at the stage where I hardly need to even blow dry it for more than a few minutes, but I need to either use the blow dry and curling iron to kind of get the wonky out of it, or if I'm not completely wetting it down, like if this is today like today, I would wet it down in the morning, but I wouldn't completely go in and wash it, and then I would just like air dry or curling iron dryer the bottom, because that's my preference. So what I'm gonna do is, since I can wet it down, go about some breakfasty business. Once my husband's awake, I can, like, with the regular hair dryer, dry it enough to then use the brush and just straighten this business. I think that'll get me through the next humps, because I think I will like it when it's down to here. I think I will. I mean, I sort of like it today how it is. It's just this clog of hair that bunches up here in the back and then gets all bedheady, long hair bedheady kind of business. And it doesn't pull back. It's so thin. My hairline is so thin around my face and stuff that until I get it longer enough that I can very loosely pull it here, I just don't like how tight it has to be to pull it back and have it keep the hair, if that makes any sense. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, and I worry about that. 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 33. Yeah, I think I went wonky on a couple of these. Let's go back then. Let's go back and make sure. That is so hard, because once you have actually even washed and blocked and worn something, even just a couple of times in the sock realm, and like I keep saying, not every sock yarn is the same. Okay, which leg am I picking up here? That leg, skip it, that leg, skip it, that leg, skip it, that leg, skip it, down leg, down leg, down leg. Okay, so 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 31. We're going to go 32 and bet that these are, I wouldn't have bet that these were a 64 stitch, but okay. Okay. And then it is right under that, and it's right above that, but I'm going to do it that way. 1, 2. How do you pick up your stitches? Because I'm so focused on one little spot or one little feel, because I can feel the down leg versus the up leg. So if it's an upside down V, you've got the down leg, and then the up leg, it's hard to explain. So I either feel it through going down or going up. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It's ridiculous trying to explain to people. This week at school, my daughter got made fun of for having the blind mom by some kid. Some stuff was said a few weeks ago, but nothing real crazy. And then it was real crazy. It made her cry, the whole 9 yards. The person had to go talk to the principal or assistant principal. That makes me sad, but whatever. You know, she actually handled it really well. She was more sad, she says, for me than herself. I don't know that I buy that. But she was also just emotional because she was coming down with a cold. She's got a summer cold. And oh my gosh, I hate that we're starting the summer off that way. But She is going into town to have a movie with Grandma and Grandpa. Why do I feel like I've had all of this conversation with you already? Is it because I have this conversation in my head with you so often? I think it is, that I just do it so often. So here, and the bummer is, because I'm going to take the toes off to make these into fingerless gloves, the bummer is that I'm not going to have anywhere to hold the yarn unless until I cut off the bottom. I suppose I could just knot this side closed. Because I normally would keep whatever yarn in here. Okay, that'll work. And then I can put on some ribbing. And then I will go in to do the next section. And the next section will be interesting because the next section will have to have double wires, because I'll have to have a section coming out of the bottom and I'll have to have a section coming out of the top of this. Because I'll end up doing the ribbing on the other end of this, and then I'll end up doing the ribbing on the top of this one. So one set will have a curled end and a ribbed end, and the other set will have two ribbed ends. 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 33. So I can take one stitch off. Okay, so then we pull it all the way through. Let me knot the other end of this one. And I will probably do this section with purple, although I don't know how many purples I actually have. They might be slightly mismatched. Okay, and then I will just come back through on the other side and go again. Woo-hoo-hoo, that's some project. That's something to keep me busy with today. It's definitely something to motivate. Where are you finding your summer motivation? I don't think a lot of knitters get summer motivation. I don't have it. I did update my wall of the kids' artwork with some artwork from this year. So that she did this year, and this one she did this year. So I updated that a little bit. Yeah, I really don't want to split this into two balls. I don't know if I have another one. I guess I'll have to find out. So, because I suppose I would want them to match. Even though, yeah, I want them to match. I will. And I have a purple person in mind, so I got to go through my yarn and find some more purple. And then I'm still going to try to do work on my Danish sweater, although it's hard because it's so warm. Like today is supposed to be 95. It's our hottest day yet. This is crazy, crazy. By this time last year, we were already 115, 110. So we have lucked out. It's been nice. I appreciate you. I love the comments. I love you. I love all the support over on Patreon. And that's community. That's my free followers and stuff too. And commenters, because you can follow people for free over there. And even though I don't post a lot over there, I do appreciate it. I appreciate the friendships. And that's all I got. That's all I got. Happy Saturday. Look with your heart first, not your eyes.